as Melbourne wakes up to a stormy winter's morning.
We're here to talk to Peter Vandersloot and Alistair Taylor about their shop, Recreation Automotive. Now I've known Peter for many, many years. He's a concourse-winning painter and car restorer, and there's nothing this guy doesn't know about high-end restoration. Now Peter and Alistair have been charged with the restoration and the paintwork on a car that I built some time ago. So we're just about to go into their shop and have a walk around their shop. Not only have a look at this beautifully finished going, but we're going to look at a 300 SL Roadster and anything else that they're working on in their shop. So it's a real behind-the-scenes treat for you all. Peter, can you tell us a little bit about what you've done to the car? The car, by the way, is looking bloody beautiful. It was restored. It was first initially painted by you. I did the bodywork in my garage at home, and it really needed to be refinished by you, and the car's looking magnificent, mate. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've done?
When we got the car, it was in very good condition, except that it had some minor imperfections. We discussed with the owners as to what to do with it, and we decided that a full repaint was in order. Once we'd done that, everything else looked a little bit tatty, so we then took all the chrome off and we had the chrome done. Yeah. We had the chrome sent to America and done by a company called Brightworks in Ohio.
Yep.
And they turned the chrome around in 4 weeks, which is unbelievable. Yep. And their quality is amazing. Because the car was already painted, we had to be very careful not to change any aspects of the chrome and the way it fitted. Yep. So we had every confidence in these people in that they could return it to us. Touch wood, everything's perfect. I mean, if you have a look at the engraving, that was redone because that was missing originally. We love this car. I mean, it's just a beautiful car, and I think the colour suits it.
Okay, let's pop the bonnet on it, Peter, and have a look underneath it. Sign of a good quality restoration, it's all in the detail. You can see that Peter's had everything apart, everything clean. So how much work did you have in all of this to tidy it up?
Well, the original paint job probably took in the vicinity of 6 weeks. Yeah. The thing is, we then had to pull the car apart again, which didn't take that long because we know these cars quite well.
I think the boss is going to be happy.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
He pays the bills.
Tell us about what's happened here, mate. The chrome's looking fantastic. This is stuff you've had done in the US?
Yes.
Okay.
The biggest problem we had was we didn't have the opportunity to change the structure of the chrome in terms of the shape. Yeah. So we had to send it to someone that could work with the surface the way it was. Yeah. These were quite badly rippled. Yeah. So what Brightworks has done is basically built the edges up with copper. You can see how thick it is now. Yeah. And then they block these back, and as you can see, they're magnificent. Yeah. You know, and the other thing is with this car, it's not a car that's being used on a regular basis. No, it is kind of static. It is a museum piece, and because of that, you know, you can finesse these things a little bit better. Yeah.
Well, tell us about the SL, mate.
Well, this is one that obviously you've been associated with for quite a while. We're in the process of doing all the surface work with this. Yep. And with every car we do, it's very important that we trial fit everything. Yep. So what we do at this point, when it's in a primer stage, an early primer stage, is we fit everything. We make sure everything fits, we check, we double check. That way we know when we get through to a stage like the going is at, that everything is in place.
So what Peter's done here is that he's used the chassis and he's used that as his primary form of datum, and then he started fitting all the bodywork up around it. You can see that the hood is the convertible hood on this car is sitting here, and Peter's just gone through a preliminary phase of just aligning it and making sure that it's all right and in the right place. And then I'll come back to the workshop and I'll put the old skin back on it and finish off the rest of the workmanship that needs to be done.
And what we try and do is work in sections. We don't take on too much of the car because that can be a little bit overawing because we're looking at this section and how it fits, then that section and that section. You know, and if you don't get it right at this point in time, it doesn't matter how good your paint is. Yeah. It's a waste of time.
Yeah. And now Peter will take it to the next level and pick up on all the nuances, all the bits that aren't quite right. He'll start to tweak edges, he'll start to fiddle with the highlights of it, he'll start to play with the radiuses of it to make it just right. So Pete, talk us through some of the other stuff you're doing in the shop.
Well, this is a perfect example of process, and what we have here, you can see the back half of the car is in the EP primer. Yep. The front half is yet to be done. Yep. So we've got the car up on stands, we've got it levelled, and what we're going to do is set up the grille the front panels, the guards, and then we'll start the process of undercoating.
Yep.
This particular car is one of 4 that was ordered by the Australian government. So this car, we believe, was the Melbourne car, was used by Sir Robert Menzies. We recently found out that as Sir Robert Menzies got a bit older, if he wanted to go to the football, they actually built a platform at the MCG, and he could drive this car up onto the platform and actually watch the football from the car.
You've obviously isolated this car.
Yes.
And the work you're doing from the rest of the shop. And tell us why.
What we're doing here, as you can see, the metal's going from a treated metal, which is treated with a rust...
like a dioxidine.
Like a dioxidine.
Yeah.
From there, we move into a sanded sort of phase.
Yep.
And then from here, we'll go into a primer phase. So this is a HT Monaro,
Yep.
a Bathurst car,
Yep.
350 4-speed. It's quite a rare car in what it is.
Yep.
The owner wants it to be the best Monaro in Australia.
Okay.
It's a big call, but that's what he wants.
Great. Okay, well tell us a little bit about what you're doing on the bench there, Pete, with the woodwork. This is for the S2 Bentley?
Yes, this is the door pieces out of the
Yep.
S2 Bentley.
Yep.
And this is the dashboard out of the S3. Okay. Now,
talk us through what you've done here.
okay, so what happens, obviously, we get everything pulled apart and
Yep.
dismantled. We'll strip the timber down to its raw state and then give it a very light sand, because the veneer is a very thin layer that is actually glued onto just a normal timber. So here's the veneer in its raw state. This is what we start with, and from there we go to a clear coat. We fill the grain with the clear, and then we rub it down again. We'll have it all so that it's fairly matte, and then from there we'll put more clear coat on it again.